Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with the Collective. My name is Sarah Brown, and I'm here with my gorgeous and very talented co-founder, Lindsay Kuzi. Say hello, Lindsay.
Good morning. It's so good to have you guys here.
So good. And I'm so excited to introduce Gabi Goossen. Hi, Gabi.
Hello, good
Thank
morning.
you so much for being here. Good morning. Gabi is a co-owner and manager of the Phil Refill store here in Kelowna, which is just so exciting because I think I popped in there once, but didn't have a lot of time to stay. And so I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing over there. Thank you so much for being here. It's really great to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to
Awesome.
chat with you guys and meet your community as well.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, and Gabby, I had a similar experience that your shop is in the same complex as my shop, and I was having a little tootle and checking it out, and it is absolutely beautiful. There's something about it that's like refreshing, breathtaking. It really draws you in, and I just really want to compliment you on how beautiful the store is. But I'd love to hear more, and if you want to share with the group, what brought about the Phil store into Kelowna, and how did you end up in the work of Kelowna Refill?
So it's actually a pretty fun story. So back in 2019, I was ready for a career change, life change. I'd been landscaping for quite a few years and my body was done. And I was wanting to check out the world of sustainability, knowing that I'm drawn to living sustainably and helping other people live sustainably. And I had an ad pop up across my Instagram for the Phil store in Vernon that they were hiring for weekend work. And I was like, I have nothing better to do on my weekends. I'll work 7 days a week just to So I applied for the position, and it was when Teresa was first opening the Vernon location. And it was just to get through Christmas. She was like, there's no hours after Christmas, or like, I don't know if there's gonna be, we just have a busy season coming up. I was like, that's fine. I already have a full-time job. And within 2 to 3 weeks, we had already transitioned, and I was just about planning on to full-time after the new year. It was just such an amazing fit, and I fell in love with just being able to help customers and help people live a sustainable lifestyle. And just meeting really awesome people, having great connections and conversations. So it very quickly developed. At about 5-6 months in, we started having a conversation about expanding, and we were like, hey, we need to take the show on the road. We need to be able to help other communities in other areas live more sustainably and give this option of being able to refill your personal hygiene and household items and go zero waste. That there's suddenly an option to, because when you can't, you're stuck in this cycle of having to purchase your same dish soap every time because you don't have the ability to refill it. So we saw the need here in Kelowna, and yesterday was actually a year ago since we checked out the location. Amazing. So it's been a year in the process. We've now been open for 6 months here in the Mission Park Plaza, and it's just been super exciting to be a part of the journey. And my goodness, I still wake up some days being like, is this real? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, long answer, but how I got into it.
That is incredible. It sounds like your heart just like went wide open, and you're like, yes, these are my people. This is my topic. This is my passion. How incredible that, you don't necessarily even have to go find your people. Like, they're coming to you because they want to be educated. They want to know more. They want to do better. And I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity. I had an interesting thought actually just recently about, us just doing our busy work, and, we are in that world of consumerism, and we're purchasing items, and we're not necessarily thinking about the impact on the planet. But then we're also very like budget conscious. And I had this thought of like, wow, we're paying extra dollars for packaging when really we could be saving that money, making other choices, saving our planet, because we are eliminating the packaging and supporting businesses like your own, Gabi, where you can have your own bottles and just refill and have that extra cash back in your pocket. So it just had I had this flash of inspiration yesterday when I was driving to work, and I was like, this is going to be so good when we interview Gabi.
Absolutely.
So true.
I do have to say that something that kind of sets us apart as a zero waste store is that we do have I think there's not a bad rep, but there is a reputation that we are more expensive. because it is all organic and it's all eco-friendly. So suddenly you're paying top dollar for high-end products and you're like, I just want my Dawn dish soap. Like that's all I need. And I don't want to have to pay for something super expensive just to save my bottle. Like, yeah, it feels good, but I can't afford it. So for us, it's been super important that one, we're accessible for people, that it's not out of the way. You come get your groceries and you come here and see us. Right. But also that it's affordable. So we have brought in eco-friendly, biodegradable products that are comparable to a Dawn dish soap that are $4 a liter. That's your grocery store prices. And seeing with, there's a few things like our laundry detergents, you can do 15 cents a load per, like, you can't beat
amazing.
So some prices, I mean, Costco's a hard one. There is some prices that kind of do beat Costco, but we're trying to make it affordable for everybody. And say different products, when you're used to purchasing it new in store at Nature's Fair or different health food stores, it is almost half the price to refill it when you're used to purchasing that specific product already. Right. So there is a lot of things, and the feel good, honestly. People are so excited when they get to refill their containers. There's nothing like it. You leave on a high, right? So
yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that. So, I mean, you kind of touched a little bit already in terms of, you know, you love educating people on sustainability, but I would love to hear, like, what inspires you to really just like show up? You've invested now in this location in Kelowna, and what inspires you to get up, do your thing every morning, and who keeps you motivated to keep showing up the way that you are?
My business partner, Teresa, who started the Vernon location, is a big inspiration to me. I have gleaned a lot of knowledge from her in just how kind of zero waste she is. I honestly, there's a lot of things that I'm still like, I love chips. That's a bag that I like sometimes have a hard time.
Guilty pleasure.
And there's just different things where it's like, okay, there isn't necessarily an alternative. Am I okay to live without this? And she's really inspired me to just like, you're making your own, or you're doing without sometimes. And I believe there is a compromise too to living sustainably, that you're making choices, and there's some things that you can't, like we don't have fluoride toothpaste. I say like that's a compromise. Like some people need to have fluoride for the teeth. That's really fine. But it totally inspires me as I'm like walking through the grocery store. I'm driving down the road and you see the plastic waste and you see the shelves filled with plastic and you're like, there has to be a better way. And just, I mean, I was even thinking about it this morning, like, I sometimes wonder how people can live, I need to be careful about how I say these words because I don't want to offend anybody, but just so single-mindedly that the environment doesn't impact me, because I send my garbage away. And I don't have to think about where it's going. Like the recycling depot takes it and they take care of it. It's like, hey, where's the ownership in our waste? And so for me, I know I told you guys a little bit about when I was living in Guatemala for over a year and a half with some family down there. And we had to be responsible for our garbage and all of the waste created. And we would make what are called eco bricks. And I know there's actually a student here in Kelowna that pitched an idea. And what you do is you stuff all your soft plastic into a pop, like a pop bottle, and then it gets repurposed. So we would repurpose them into different walls in the buildings or create different structures. But it's that mindfulness of like, what I like, the garbage and the waste that I'm creating has an impact and it's going somewhere. Yeah, and so being mindful of like, what am I purchasing? What is the packaging? And how can I be better and do better about it? So
I love that. I love that you're I really, the awareness, I think awareness around everything in our lives is so important. And that, like you say, the kind of global impact of what we're purchasing, and especially when we're purchasing things that are plastic. Just really thinking about, okay. And as I like what you said earlier too, about you have to make compromises sometimes, and you can't. And I think that's where the education piece comes in too, because the more people that are aware and start to recognize that they can make certain choices, that the easier it's going to be on the planet. And it doesn't mean that we all necessarily have to or can do it perfectly, but the more of us that have that awareness, it's a little bit like, my background's in nutrition as well. And it's like, people are like, well, like we have these livers that are meant to, detoxify our bodies, so I can do all this kind of damage to it. And it's like, okay, well, but there's a limit still. So yes, no one's saying that you should never drink and never eat this and never do that ever again. But the less you do of it, the less impact it's going to have on your liver over time. And you're probably going to be fairly, and your liver is then going to be able to cope with the little bit that maybe it needs to. And that's kind of how I'm relating what you're saying, is it's like, the more we can all be aware and mindful of our purchasing choices and where those, maybe plastics are going to go, the more of us that get involved in that, and the more we can educate others and be inspired by others, the better it's going to be on Mother Earth. That's really cool.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think the biggest thing is I don't want people to feel like I'm condoning them for doing it either. Right? I don't want people to be guilted into having want to make a change. I think it does have to come from a place of awareness and being like, I know this is a good thing, and like I'm making an impact. And I mean, there's a quote that it's like, be imperfectly zero waste, be imperfectly vegan, be imperfectly you can't, when you try to put like perfect standards on yourself, like even for me, I'm like, I feel so guilty, but you do got to have the compromise, and you do got to be like, okay, I'm going to commit to at least using the dish soap. The shampoo doesn't work for me, but I'm going to do my dish soap, and then I'm going to do my laundry.
Totally.
Or like
Absolutely.
Make the changes where you can, and then kind of go from there, right? And as like people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I want everything in your store. And they're like, whoa, like, I don't know.
They're like, load it up.
Load me up, get me.
Yeah, like you need to finish what you have at home, and then bring the bottle in and use what you've got. Because if you go home and dump out your containers at home too, that's not being zero waste. You can't just like get rid of it because you want to do something new. And so we encourage customers. It's like, no, they're like, how do I start? Where do I start? I want everything at once. And like, start with one thing, empty your dish soap or your laundry, your shampoo, whatever you want to start with, and come in and refill it, and go one at a time as you run out of your things.
That's perfect. Well, that makes it affordable. It makes it easy. And I think it makes more sense because they start to learn more about sustainability and zero waste, because they're coming more frequently, and they're probably picking up more information nuggets after each and every visit. And I think that's just so beautiful. At the Good Place Collective here, Gabby, we really talk about bringing community together and elevating one another, and really creating that safe place where people can come together in business and just chat, brainstorm, and walk away with new ideas, new connections. And so we like to really infuse into that collaboration or collaborative environment and umbrella. And so when we talk about collaboration, I'd love for you to share with the group what collaboration means to you in your own words.
So for me, collaboration means it just like, I would say a sense of togetherness and a collection of people working together towards the same goal. For me, that means like sustainability. But for the Good Place, that's just bringing people together, right? And building those connections. And I think for me, connection and collaboration also is just a whole bunch of people coming together, and everybody has their own strengths. Everybody's going to do one thing better than the other, and just being a stronger, better team because of it, and a community that can support each other in different ways than by yourself you can't do on your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting that you brought up the word sustainability too, because in a lot of ways that is what the collective is about, because it's like, how do we create this community of, like-minded professionals in a really safe and inclusive environment sustainably? We can say it and we can talk about it every week and we can talk about it individually, but what is the environment that we're creating that makes it long lasting? So I think there is a perfect, kind of synergy there too.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you just never even know, even in the Good Place Collective here, who has like this yearning to learn more about sustainability. And you don't know who people know or where their deeper passions are too. So it's so cool that we can have just open conversation like this, and people who are really like picking up what you're putting down, Gabby, they are just going to gravitate towards you and want to, link arms and like, how can I help? Or, would this be helpful? Or what about this idea? And I think it's like, for me, I get so excited about that business brainstorming, right? Like, what else is possible? What more can be done? And we often talk about inclusivity. And I think with the inclusivity is about creating that safe container too, right? So we can show up authentically and know that our best selves, I guess, are protected in a way that it's safe for us to, speak what's on our heart. So if you were to share inclusivity in your own words, like what would that look like?
I'm trying to think. That wasn't a question you gave me before.
So I may or may not be putting you on the spot, and my most sincere apologies. However, when you think about being included for yourself into groups, what does that need to feel like for you to feel safe?
I did find the question. Support and inclusive was what it tied together. And for me, an inclusive environment is just a place where everybody feels at home. And there's just a different level of comfort that comes with that, without being rejected, without like fear of being made fun of, and just a place where you can be like, oh, okay, like not, you're at ease, right? And having that place where you can kind of lean back and just be like, okay, I'm comfortable now. And it's like going home and it's like, okay, I feel safe here. And just being in an environment where you can just kind of go in and be like, oh, these are my people and I don't have to have a mask on anymore. And a place where people actually want to be too. I think that's part of it, is when people are just faking it. And it's like, no, you want to be there and you want to be your real genuine self and feel at ease and be comfortable to do that. So
it's beautiful.
Places that are like that, I think, are some of my favorite places to be. Absolutely. The place I can look back at, like in my life, like times in Guatemala or working at a kids camp in the summer, those are places where I just felt at home. And like that's where I would come alive.
Yeah. Oh, I like
Beautiful.
that. That's where I would come alive. That's a good yeah, because it's true, when we have that like safety and feeling of comfort, which is a great word, we can truly come alive in our truest self. I like that a lot. I'm gonna use that one. That's awesome. Oh, Gabi, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you a little bit this morning, and I hope we have a lot more opportunities to continue to get to know you and introduce you more to our incredible community here at The Good Place. Before we wrap up here, I would love for you just to quickly share where people can find you. Obviously, you have a physical location where you actually are right now, but if someone wanted to reach out to you and get to know you, obviously they can come to the store, but is there any other better way to reach you or learn more about what you're doing?
The best way to connect with me usually is via Instagram. Phil, Kelowna's Refill Store. We're online. You can check out our website, which has all of our products on it, at philkelowna.ca. That being said, I will always tell people that you're welcome to bring in your own container from home. Online, you're looking at prices including the cost of the container, so it does get a bit more expensive, so don't let those prices scare you. It is cheaper when you go to the store.
Good point.
Just make sure you clean out your bottle if you are bringing it in. That's the rules with COVID. Otherwise, yeah, we post all of our products online, and like love to connect with people that way and answer any questions. And in store is always the easiest. You kind of get a better sense of
and just remind everybody exactly where you're located.
Oh, we are located in the Mission Park Shopping Center. So on Lakeshore Road, between Torino's and the Wine Cellars, by Urban Fair.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much, Gabi. Thank you everybody who took the time to check out this interview this morning. And we hope to connect with you all again soon. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you next week with Coffee with the Collective.